What up, my guy?
Yeah, just looking at some of my notifications here. California judge sentenced Robert Durst life in prison for murdering his best friend, Susan Berman, in 2000. Wow.
What's that?
Okay.
I don't know none of those names.
I don't know any of those names either, but I guess it's pretty significant. I guess they had to put it in the news as a headline. I don't understand. I see some of the y'all. You ever just want to like go through some of these pictures on Facebook or Instagram where I see like some of these plate of food. I just want to reach through the camera. If I could just break through the internet world and just reach on the other side and grab the food because it looks so good. I don't want to go anywhere else. I don't want to go to this. I want the food what it looks like right now because I feel like the way it looks right now, it is an accurate depiction of how that food really is. Because
Yo,
when I go there, it's not even that good, and
you
I'm
think that
pissed.
technology would ever exist where you see something you can actually kind of feel and smell it?
Oh man, that'd be disastrous, man.
That'd be wild,
Yo,
though.
people would be fighting, bro.
Yo, that would be wild.
Yo,
Nah.
why are you putting up such good food? Especially if you put trash ass food. If you put trash food up, forget it.
Yo, I'd be like, yeah, I just smell it.
Yeah. Yeah. I see my whole thing is like, you know, I look at it and I just get so hungry and I'm just like, I hate y'all. I hate y'all. Stop posting up your damn food, but then keep going. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just like, yeah,
Yo,
anyways.
yo,
I got a bone to pick with you, man. I got a
hold up.
bone to pick with you. I got something to say to you. All right? I
Yo,
got
this
something to say
logo
to you.
type fresh, though. This logo type fresh.
No, 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 don't deviate. Don't deviate, damn it. You just
Talk to
said
me.
off air, you just said the Knicks is trash. First off,
Oh, yeah,
first off,
that's facts. Yeah.
only Knick fans could call the Knick franchise
Yeah,
trash.
that's me. Yeah, that's me.
All right?
Yeah, that's me.
You just said you're not a Knick fan.
I'm not currently, but I was for many years. But I drew the line somewhere where Knicks fans are afraid to. You can't be faithful to a team like the Knicks. It doesn't work out for you well. It doesn't end well. The Knicks don't care about you, bro.
No, I know that, but what
The
I'm
Knicks
saying
are
is
the
only
Knicks
Knick
are the
fans,
version. The Knicks are Joe
only
Biden. If
my
you don't come to
only
my games, then you don't like basketball. That's the Knicks
only
right there.
Knick fans can call the Knicks trash. Period.
Yeah, the
I don't want
Knicks.
to hear nobody else coming out of nowhere, kind of out of left field, and be like, yo, the Knicks are trash though.
Yo, nobody
Because
even talk about the
you're
Knicks.
about to get a construction boot to your face.
Ha, you a faithful Knicks fan. Wow.
No, I'm not. I don't watch them. But don't call
Oh,
my team. No, because I did. I watched them. I watched them all last year. I did. It's the year before that they were trash. I couldn't really watch them. They were terrible.
that's the year I
So
went to.
I made sure I turned off. I didn't look at social media while they were playing because if I had to hear that, I'd be like, damn it. You right though, but don't talk about my team like that. Anyways, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? Let's
Yo,
get
yo,
this
yo.
show on the road. Hello and welcome to another live episode of Drinks with a Nobody. I'm Macho, that's Savory, and you're watching us on on Nobody TV. It is live TV, but this is
Five,
Nobody TV. Follow us on Twitch at MachoFix88 and at Savory_Edition. Be sure to also follow us on Twitter. Same handles, you can catch us right there. And in case you miss any of our content, please, and if you want more content, if you
yeah,
want
we
more
also
content,
live on YouTube, by the
yeah,
way. We live
facts.
on YouTube, so
Go to YouTube, type in Drinks with a Nobody, and please hit that subscribe button, click that notification bell so you never miss a thing. Come on. What my whole thing is, Lou, why do we want our audience to even stop to listen to us nobodies?
yo,
What are we trying to do for the people?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you in the most simplest way I've ever said it. All right, it's to give people that space to talk about things that deep inside they know they want to talk about. To give people
Mm,
that kind of room to be like, yo, you could talk about this. Every week I might say it in different ways, but it's the same sentiment, man. There's many things from thoughts, ideas, and heartfelt emotions that people don't really want to share. At Drinks with a Nobody, we want to open up that room, that space to kind of just let everybody in.
yeah, think of us as alcohol anonymous in a way.
Ooh.
Think of us as alcohol anonymous because we're not called Drinks with a Nobody for no reason. There's always these great debates over drinks. C.S. Lewis used to be very good friends with J.R.R. Tolkien, I think is
Yeah.
the correct lettering. And they used to have large debates over faith over a large pint. And
Mhm.
then I don't know, it wasn't at that moment where C.S. Lewis became converted to Christianity. It was at another moment he describes. But I have to believe during those wrestlings that they had to contribute to some of those
Part of the process.
notions. It probably sparked it for him. So this is kind of the things we're not trying to ask to give you a call to faith. Wherever you want to take this, you take it. But I'm asking you, don't do this without a drink. Go right ahead. Go into your fridge, any kind of beverage, pop it open, sit back, relax, and be prepared to engage because that's what we want here at Drinks with a Nobody. I got a question for you. In the NBA, who has the best handles, in your opinion?
Come on, man. This is just facts, though. This is not about opinions. If you got that basketball eye test, you know it's Kyrie Irving, man. The man got the best handles
Mm.
out there. If you know about basketball and you got the eye test, it is my man Kyrie Irving, man. That man has the ball on a string. He's unpredictable. Could take it to the rack. Got a good steps back. He controls the basketball in such a way that we haven't seen in a lot of years in our NBA era.
I'm inclined to agree, but I'm a different man and I'm a man of myself. I'm gonna say this. I think Steph Curry has some serious handling skills. And if not, he's a close second to Kyrie Irving. But he's the best shooter in the NBA.
Oh
Period.
yeah, yeah, that's a different combo though. Yeah, for sure.
But Kyrie Irving's handles and watching him go head to head in the NBA finals against Steph Curry, oh my God. There was no better finals for me to ever watch.
Yeah, super entertaining.
Like LBJ was on the team, but no one was looking at LBJ. Everyone was looking at the battle between Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving. Oh
Yeah,
my God, that was unreal. It was back and forth. They were challenging each other. You know, both of them, they really can't play defense, in my opinion. But just seeing them go head to head on a one, like nobody else is on the court,
yeah.
it was magical, bro. It was magical. And yeah, I have to agree
We
with
on the
you.
same
Kyrie
page,
Irving.
man. I don't know if we on the same page moving forward, but we on the same page on handles.
Yeah, yeah. Just don't call my Knicks trash, all right?
Yo. How we kicking this off, man?
All right. So it was tough for me to title this topic today, but I think it was appropriate because I don't know if this is really about just the vaccination or if it's about choice I'm not sure, but we'll flesh that out as we go along. Is Kyrie Irving a hero? I want us to explore that today. Is Kyrie Irving a hero? And particularly what the story is with Kyrie Irving is first off, everyone in the NBA is mandated to get the vaccine. It's part of them being able to be on the court, right? Kyrie Irving decides to take a stand and not be vaccinated. And be as penalty to that, he cannot play this season. So the entire season he's not going to play. He's also lost some money. He's possibly, stay tuned, he's possibly lost an extension with the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
So is he a hero? Is he a hero for the unvaccinated? Is he a hero for the pro-choicers? Or is he a hero even for the vaccinated? I want to explore all those things. So what are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, those are all good questions, but that's not the question I ask myself. I don't look at athletes as heroes. I don't look at none of these people as more than athletes. But what I would say is I appreciate what he's doing. I really love what he's doing, right? But for me, um I'm not elevating this to an issue of him saving the world, but he is standing up in a time where it's needed when it comes to vaccine, right? I'm not saying when it comes to anti-vaccine, but when it comes to the choice and the freedom to actually not take a vaccine, right? When you have somebody like Kyrie Irving, top 5 NBA player, his name is known out there, championship NBA level. I think he's inspiring a lot of people um, to hold their ground. I actually got excited, and I know a lot of
I
people.
don't know. This dude is so problematic. He's so problematic that, first off, remember, let's look at his track record here. My man accuses, or I made some subtle shade at the Boston faithful, talking about how racist that arena could be, or the Boston fans could be.
Yeah,
Mind
yeah,
you, sold the most jerseys there. Sold the most jerseys. They bought his sneakers. But you're talking, and yeah, I mean, you're not white. You're black.
yeah. But that's a whole different issue, though.
All right, all right, all right. All right.
That's
I'm
like
just saying.
because I'm with you on that, but I don't care about
I
that.
think that this dude is such a flip flopper. You can't believe in systemic racism and then also be like, yo, I must take a stand for. You can't stand on the side of progressives and think it ain't gonna come to bite you in the ass when you take a stand against them.
Well, conservatives are behind him right now. It seems.
Conservatives are behind the idea; they're not behind him.
Yeah, the idea. But you always get behind the idea, not the person. That's why I look at athletes. So this is how I look at it. All right. When it comes to Kyrie Irving, I believe he does stuff because he actually really believes it. Why? He puts his money where his mouth is. Right. The George Floyd. There's tons of people who talk mad stuff about
He
helping.
bought a house for a crackhead. He bought a house.
He bought a house. If you want to call that, yeah, okay. But he did something, which means he actually believes that he puts his money where his mouth is.
Yo, if I was a crackhead, I'll be lined up right now in front of Kyrie Irving's house, like it's a lunch line.
You have to get killed by police, bro. Relax. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
But that's what it is this is what I'm saying. I believe Kyrie Irving believes what he preaches and validates that. I'm not only talking about George Floyd, the way he gives, the way he volunteers, children stuff that he does, his camp. He actually believes this. Is he right in that? I believe a lot of that stuff is rhetoric and wrong, right? But at the end of the day, he's doing the same thing here. Yo, you can't tell Kyrie Irving how to act, and you can't expect a certain behavior from him. This ended up being in the right side of history, I believe, because these are the kind of things we need. So I look at his past, I'm like, yo, it is what it is. I disagree with this. It's like if Joe Biden all of a sudden comes out and has a plan for the free market, and I'll be like, oh, all right, cool. Like, I'm with that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to judge you by your last idea or by your most relevant kind of situation that you have in front of you. Yeah, I'm still looking at your past, but I'm only talking about right now. Kyrie Irving is that dude right now.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy that the league is actually taking a stand. I'm also very happy he's taking a stand, but I'm also primarily I'm happy that the league is actually sticking up and following what they say and not consuming or actually fault or kneeling to the popular demand, not necessarily to the consumer, but to popular demand. And here's where I'm going with this is that you cannot. I feel like a lot of these players forget that you're at a workplace. When I go to work, and let's say I all of a sudden want to be an evangelistic person and now start preaching the Bible at work, what is my first responsibility when I get there? To do the job I was hired for.
Yeah.
They didn't hire me to be an evangelist.
But they never hired Kyrie with this kind of expectation. That's not his job responsibility.
They hired him to play basketball.
Yeah, and he is playing basketball, right? If you hire me to do a job, fix computers, and then you tell me in order for you to continue to fix computers, you got to do this. I'm like, yo, that's not part of the job responsibility. They ain't hiring him for this, bro.
No, I feel you, but that's what I'm saying. My whole thing is if you know that your job is to play basketball, right?
Yeah.
And then they add these stipulations in there, then okay, you know what? I don't want to agree to those stipulations. I'm out. And that's why I agree with him. Like, stand up to you. He's standing. I agree with you in that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when he uses his wording, his rhetoric is terrible. When he says, I'm taking a stand, I'm using my platform to take a stand. Your platform is to play basketball. I wouldn't have never known you if you weren't a basketball player.
Yeah, for sure. But he has influence as a basketball player is what he's trying to say. Although I disagree with those things he did before, but at the end of the day, what he's trying to say, he got influence.
I have influence at my job.
It's limited, though.
My job is to do what I was hired to do, though. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
We've
but he did that.
changed the way these things
But he's been
operate.
doing that, right? With the exception of the Brooklyn Nets season
So
last year, like, you know,
my point is, I'm happy that the league's taking a stand and say, look, we didn't hire you to be a politician. We hired you to be a player.
because there's consequences here.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So you have to have consequences to your actions. And I know he knows this. And he's okay with the consequences. He's okay with the end result. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna live with that, he's gonna deal with that. But I'm actually happy that the league's taking it up because a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, we don't stand for that." Then you have a big high profile player who generates a lot of money, generates a lot of ticket sales. Kyrie Irving is probably number 2 or number 3 on the list, most generated money around, generating the most revenue in the NBA.
Yeah.
So that's a big decision for the NBA to make. Say, look, we're going to let go money here. We're also going to leave money on the table with Kyrie not playing. People don't think of the grand scheme of
Who's
this.
taking the bigger hit right here?
I would argue the NBA is.
Nah, you crazy, bro?
Kyrie's going to make his money.
Bro,
There's always
he's about to forego $200 million, bro.
He's going to make it back. Trust me.
Now
I
you say
told
you
you this
can't
about
use
Chappelle.
this.
I told
Yeah.
you this about Dave Chappelle.
What do you mean he's gonna make it back?
He's using the excuse of I left 50 million on the table. You know how much Netflix paid him to do just 3 shows?
Yo, but that's 10 years
60
later,
million.
bro. That's 10 years later.
You mean to tell me he didn't make money in the interim?
Nothing near millions, bro. It was different. He still was good. I'm not saying he was poor.
Nah.
Nothing near what he's making now. It's a sacrifice, bro. Yo,
It
you
is
think
a
he's making
sacrifice, but
sacrifice?
you're
The
asking
NBA
me.
is making no sacrifice. They're gonna sell jerseys otherwise. They're gonna be good.
Nah, the sacrifice of what? It's like telling me I sacrificed 5 cents or $5
So what you
in the
think
grand
the
scheme
NBA
of my
sacrificed?
salary. Huh?
Percentage of the revenue. What you think they sacrificed the NBA?
That is a great actually that's a great question, but I think it's a large amount of the reason why you're saying what you're saying is because we're comparing an enterprise to a singular brand, a single person.
Yes.
But I say the NBA generated, if he's number 1, number 2 in revenue, in most revenue, you're telling me that doesn't hurt the NBA at all?
Bro, for this reason, there's conservatives about to buy his jersey too. They're good. Conservatives are lame like that, just like liberals. Like they play this political game where I bet you I won't be surprised if his jersey sales go up because conservatives who don't watch basketball all of a sudden want a freaking Kyrie Irving. My point is this: there are consequences. I'm with you, but he made a decision that was one of the decisions that I do think is beyond basketball. I know athletes like to use that as an excuse, like, yo, I'm doing this for this. In this situation, it is because you have thousands of people who don't agree with this mandate and who don't have the luxury. You have Andrew Wiggins who folded. He took it. One of the saddest press conferences I ever seen. He's like, yeah, I didn't want to do that, but unfortunately other people stay strong, but it was my livelihood.
You called him a softie? You called him a softie?
He was like, I hope other people stay strong. What is Kyrie Irving doing? He's staying strong in it. Most people won't do it because they don't want to forego the money, but what they're doing is incredibly manipulative. Like every time you hear me talk about this, you're forcing somebody to put something into their body. Athletes, you will not find one athlete that's going to die of COVID-19, bro. They're on tip-top shape. They are in the death rate. They got a higher chance of getting struck by lightning than dying by COVID, bro. These athletes are in a phenomenal shape, which is why I like that he's doing this, So, yeah, man. But nonetheless, man, my question is this: do you believe? I have a question for you right here. Do you believe Colin and Kyrie have a similar road and story right now?
Ooh, I never even thought of it that way. But let's look to see what some of those I want to see where that goes actually. Let's see where that goes.
I'm going to show you a clip of
Oh. Okay.
Like, what do you mean?
What am I looking at here?
This is championship. Really? So go back to 5 years ago when.
Let me go a little back again. But right here, this is the PBD. They do a live podcast and they just go on relevant topics, But right here, they're about to talk about the comparison that I found interesting between Colin and Kyrie, right?
Gotcha.
So
No, I don't. So I watch if I want to get someone's take on any topic, I go Stephen A.
Yeah, I know
Okay?
you're a big fan.
I like Stephen A's,
Yeah.
and I go to and I'm looking, I'm like, Stephen A, what are you saying? What are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? This is championship. This is championship. Really? So go back to 5 years ago when everybody was talking about Colin Kaepernick kneeling. This is bad for the team. They can't win a championship. They had a championship squad. It's not about championships. It's about what you stand for. It's about what's right for you. It's about this. Wait a minute.
so you see the double standard that's happening here, right? This is why even when it's not politics, it's politics, right? For Colin, these people were saying, "Oh, it's more than football. There's a cause higher." But now you can't find anybody in the mainstream ESPN Sports Center that would have the audacity to really say the reality. Can it be that it's more than basketball to him? It could be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but you don't even want to entertain that. But here he makes the comparison.
Can't take it one place or the other. By the way, you're right that the left and the right do this all the time. But in this situation here, to me, Kyrie Irving is the new Colin Kaepernick, except the new Colin Kaepernick, Kyrie is being treated differently than Colin Kaepernick.
He's the new Colin, but instead he's being treated differently because it doesn't align with what they actually want you to align with.
So he's the villain rather than the hero.
But it's almost the same thing happening, but these same people. And then I'm gonna play a few more seconds.
The hero, Kyrie's a villain.
Well, I think in many cases, Kaepernick was also a villain.
No, to the game of sports. To the game of sports. In the sports world, Colin was a hero. Let's not get it twisted. In the world of sports, Colin is a hero. Nike did a massive contract, 40 million, all that stuff.
Well,
but Kyrie completed
something that.
So you got to ask yourself.
Excellent point.
Right? He became a superstar. Right? He became a superstar. Nike doing all that. He was celebrated every step of the way. No questions were asked on why he might be kneeling. Right? When it comes to sports. But now Kyrie Irving does this, which I think is a much more legitimate reason because he's actually sacrificing something. Colin had everything to gain, bro. My man, he didn't get a contract because he wasn't the best player or the player he thought he was. But at the end of the day, he ended up getting ad money, Nike deals, better than a contract in the NFL.
Do you think that? What impacts you in all of this is when people leave money on the table.
That's a big part of it. It impacts.
That's what like really triggers you. That gets you to like, wait, what? He's leaving how much on the table for what? This must mean something. That must mean something, right?
Yeah, that's second tier though. First tier to me is I believe in this cause though, right? And when I say this cause, it's not about vax or anti-vax. What I'm saying the cause is choice, right? I don't know why this is so controversial. I tell people when people don't want to take it and you telling people that they have to do something against their will, that is psychological abuse. That is not only psychological abuse, that's actually very controlling and manipulative.
How do you deal with the spread? How do you stop the spread then?
Let me tell you this. Age 65 and older in the USA, if you're 65 and older, we have 90% of all people 65 and older vaccinated. 90%, right? Somebody looked that up. And we got 80% of people 50% and older already vaccinated, right? So why do I mention those stats? Because why do you want to continue to get everybody vaccinated when you know that people who get the vaccine still spread it, that the vaccine is not as effective as you thought, and let people choose because now the highest risk is almost fully vaccinated, bro. Now, if you're 50 and 40 and under, you're not at the highest risk unless you have morbidities, right? Unless you have underlying conditions. Then
would that be considered discrimination? If we're just saying only 65 and up gets the vaccine, would that be considered discrimination?
If they can only get it, oh yeah, I would say if they can, but they're not doing that. What I'm saying is everybody get the vaccine, right? And you should prioritize people who are highest risk.
I'm trying to understand why the government is mandating us in the
That's
first place
what's
if the
confusing.
highest area of concern are the elderly in our country
And all of those.
or in the world, right? Is it proven science that only the elderly at a
Oh,
mass
proven,
rate?
proven. Look at Italy, look at Sweden, look at America, look at Japan. Everywhere, the most people who are dying, right? Out of every 100, 90 something, not only are 60 plus, but on top of that, they usually have morbidity if you're younger, right? So the rare occasion where a 30-year-old dies, it's happened. I'm not saying it's never happened, but you have underlying conditions, all right? And that any kind of flu would kill you with that when you have 3 underlying conditions as well, you know? So yeah, that's my thought there. And I believe, let me just say this last thing, that it's not about vax or anti-vax. But when you lose your opportunity to choose in one field of life because of government control, you will soon lose it in another.
I put in chat here to see just to get some feedback. Is Mr. Savory here overreacting? Is he paranoid? Is this really a big deal about choice? Is Kyrie Irving a hero? Is this really about taking a stand? And the comparison here of him being compared to Colin Kaepernick, but the reaction or the impact is Kyrie's the villain rather than being the hero like Colin Kaepernick was. That
Mhm.
is an interesting take. I didn't even think of that connection until I just heard that. So when like I asked the question, you really think that when you hear or when you see money being left on the table or anybody trying to violate people's rights in the sake of safety, that is not good. That's not healthy. But if this is this really that important or is it killing people that much that we have to get vaccinated to the point? Do you ever think that there's ever a time that we have to do that?
No, to the point
What's
they're
the
trying to
limit?
get, like, I just don't know what they're trying to do. This seems like all control because you have how many people you want to get vaccinated? They asked Joe Biden. He said 90%. Bro, do you live in the twilight zone? You get what I'm saying? So what do you mean 90%? Right? And
How
now they're
would you even do that? How would you even do that regularly? Because you have so many people who would have like adverse effects naturally. Like people had adverse effects to polio, the
people
polio
have adverse
vaccine.
effects to peanuts, bro. You
Yeah.
can't give that to everybody. I'm trying to tell you can't just give one thing across the board and force everybody, right? Peanuts might be healthy. I guarantee you give it to a few people will kill them. But my argument is not even adverse effects. I think those are rare. And my other argument is we don't know the long-term effects, but that's a whole nother conversation. This conversation on Kyrie right now, it's about standing his ground on freedom because there's a lot of people, right? This is why I like when Southwest stood up. The reason I like they stood up, they gave hope to the people who were, damn, I gotta provide for my family. If I'm put in a
Mhm.
corner, but when you put pressure from influencers like somebody like Kyrie, so I just feel this is an actual issue of not bending your knee to the government. Like he's actually doing what Kaepernick wanted to do in a practical way because you could point at something. Kaepernick can't point at anything. Oh, I'm kneeling
Right.
because they're killing us all over the street. Systemic racism. This is practical, bro. Is a mandate that came from the federal government into the NBA, forcing players to do something that they shouldn't be doing. So I'm like,
We have Kyrie Irving broke his silence. So let's get to hearing what Kyrie Irving has to say when he
yeah,
took this stand. He went live on Instagram, right? Am I
yeah. He
correct?
got a live video. I thought it was a good live video, right? Because it wasn't politically driven. It
Mm.
wasn't just filled with vax, anti-vax. It was just a simple reality, right? And I'm gonna play a few minutes of it right now, seconds. Simple reality of why he did this without trying to defend all the people criticizing him, right?
Okay. Okay. And Mr. Savory is gone. Just like that in a matter of seconds. But we're gonna get Mr. Savory back in a few short moments. But basically, what we're gonna play here in a minute is Kyrie Irving breaks his silence and basically comes out and talks about why he's taking this stance and kind of kill some of the narrative that could possibly or potentially come out. Like, is he retiring? Is he stepping away from the game for other reasons or anything of that nature? So he makes it clear that why he's stepping away, and we got that clip for everyone right now. So let's cue that up.
They don't want me to win, man. What happened?
They
right
don't. They don't. They came after you.
I want with this. This is one body that I get here, one God body that I get here. And you telling me what to do with my body, and it has nothing to do with the organization. I'm gonna put that out there. It has nothing to do with the Nets. It has nothing to do with my teammates. This has everything to do with what's going on in our world. And I'm being grouped in to something that's bigger than just a game of basketball. And you got that.
The question is this bigger than basketball? If you think it's only basketball, he's making a big deal, then I understand where you're coming from, because you've convinced yourself and you'll have to defend that on, all right, this is about basketball. Because we clearly know it's not. It's organizations, it's families, it's nurses, it's pilots, it's doctors, it's people being impacted. So when he does this, it is either he really, we'll see if he really means all this, if he continues and puts his money where his mouth is. But yeah.
Right.
Fandom, which is like a religion to people out here. Basketball is like a religion. Entertainment is like a religion to people. They like get so caught up emotionally. It's just like, yo, effing get vaccinated or just leave. We angry at what you're doing, man. And it's just like, nah, that's like, what are you talking about? I'm a human being. I have emotions. I have feelings.
This is personalizing this, right? You could tell, like, either he's a really great actor or it ain't about basketball to the man.
Yeah, but my whole thing here,
he never do anything like this. He ain't never went live. He ain't never spoke. He just spoke as a spokesperson.
I got something to throw in the fire here. My sister brought up a good point this morning, and she said to me, I hear you, but you got vaccinated. I said, yeah, because I had to. It's either that or I don't got money. So these dudes here who got money, bro. Like, does that really, is that really a sacrifice?
What do you mean they have money, bro?
You mean to tell me he doesn't have money?
You have to understand, bro. People who make millions have $1 million lifestyle, bro. That's why most NBA players, when they retire, are broke. You understand that? 90+% are broke. Why? Because
but who does it hurt more? Money. Who does it hurt more? You not getting vaccinated and you lose your job, or Kyrie not getting vaccinated, not playing NBA anymore? Who does it hurt more?
Me.
That's what I'm trying to tell you, Lou. That's what I'm saying.
But he's giving people like me hope, though. You got what I'm saying? Because he didn't have to do it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? He gives people like me hope because he's still. I know you like to believe these people make millions, but trust me, most of the lifestyle they live, they got $1 million mansions. They got this, so you have to keep up with that lifestyle. This is just financial literacy 101. I tell people. And again, he might have 100 million in the bank. I don't know. This might be easy for him to do. You might be right. I don't think that's the case because you're still leaving a lot of money. But anyways.
Yeah, I just make the argument that
things that I keep to myself, things that I share, but I'm staying grounded in what I believe in. It's just as simple as that. It's not about being anti-vax or about being on one side or the other. Like it's just really about being true to what feels good for me. I'm still uncertain about a lot of things, and that's okay.
Is that okay? Is that okay nowadays to be a little bit uncertain about a vaccine or to feel good about your diet? This is the reasons why the hashtag natural immunity was banned, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would you ban a hashtag that's promoting natural immunity? Because you want everybody to get the vax. And again, let me play it quick because this gets heated, and then we'll take this off so we can continue.
If I'm gonna be demonized for having more questions and taking my time to make a decision with my life, then that's just what it is. Like that's something I gotta sit in. I know the consequences of the decisions I make with my life. I'm not here to sugarcoat any of that. But if we really gonna be real, like it's crazy times we're in. It's crazy times. Like how many people are really thinking with a balanced view? How many people are really thinking about the future of what's going on? It's crazy times we're in. We just came out of one of the craziest pandemics of all time, and you telling me to think rationally.
Not
How
true.
many? A lifetime, like multiple lifetimes. And if I'm being called out on what I'm doing with my life, and I'm just living righteously, and I'm living for me, and I'm living for the people that love me and support me, how is it that I have to be, at odds with everybody, or people are coming at me? I had to really sit back and think about this and meditate and pray and ask God for the words to come on here, because like this is not normal. You know what I mean? Like, this is not normal. What's going on? This is not normal. And
this is not normal.
And just to be clear, a lot of middle class people did leave their work. A lot of middle class, a lot of nurses, a lot of doctors have left the job. My sister just told me today about 4,000 plus were just let go. And the way that her job celebrates that, it says, we are now 100% compliant. That's the way they celebrate that. So compliancy is what they're chasing. And that's why I could understand why Kyrie is having this frustration, because I don't want to fit into your compliancy. But the argument that I make here is he's talking from a place of privilege. And I understand that you're saying he could live $1 million lifestyle, but he's not going to have issues finding a way to make money. I'm going to make that very clear. He can be on a talk show. He can have control. He can create his own talk show and look, we're doing a live now. We're not going to generate the kind of numbers. If he was to start a live, I'm sure he got thousands and thousands of people in his live.
But why so many people are unwilling to do what he did, right? So there's many people who didn't want to take the vax, but at the end of the day, they ended up getting the vax because the money meant a lot.
This guy did.
It was hard. I'm talking about NBA players, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of NBA players who also felt like that, and people there was a lot of people like you, bro. I don't blame people, because there's people who got kids. I'm not in their shoes, but I hate that they had to do that, bro. I don't like it. I don't like that people had to do that, because them having to do that, it sets a precedence of less control, of slowly stripping away in a strategic way certain basic rights, bro. People think it's too far when I say that, but it's not at all, because remember, they take a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit in a year. By the time a decade hits, you're giving up a lot of your basic freedoms and little things that you can do. So this is why I stand by this, man.
Who's they? Governments, organizations, elites?
I would say in the broader term, government, right? We can go deeper with elites and all that, but it's just really government overreach. That's the best way to put it. The government is overreaching, bro. The government doesn't have the right to do what they're doing. It's as simple as that. They don't have the right. They don't even have the right for a lockdown. I purposely never obeyed the lockdown. People was like, oh, you're trying to be contrarian. I'm not trying to be contrarian. Why are you telling me when to be home? Maybe I'm a little more extreme than others, and I understand with that. But I don't like the government telling me anything that has to do with me, my body, my family, my home.
Is there ever a time to be able to do that in the sake of safety? Is there ever a time to do it?
No.
Ooh. So if you got like some serious pestilence outside and it's killing everybody, you're saying
if you and your family got guns in there and you want to handle it outside, should the government stop you from going outside with your guns? If I want to risk my life, if I feel safe going outside with my gun and my rights, should the government arrest me from going outside and protecting my family? That's my problem. If I get shot dead, all right, I took a personal choice. But what if I don't want to sit idle and still? What if I want to exercise that right? That's why I think it's overreach as soon as they go to when it comes to private property, right? This is why I lean more libertarian, because of these views, because I do want them to stay out of the way.
And do you think that we set precedents for the world? If we're restricting, if our government is restricting our freedom, what does that say to the rest of the world, right?
That's a good question. That's a good question, because I do believe if America starts going downhill and we start seeing anything close to what's happening in Australia, then the world will follow suit. And
I think I think we're contradicting ourselves. We want women in the Middle East to have their rights while restricting American rights right now. That was the conservatives' argument. Oh, we're going back to Sharia law, the fact that we pulled out of the Middle East. You can't talk to me about what your concerns are when right here in your own country, they're limiting your freedom. They're taking away your basic human
Yeah,
rights.
exactly.
Don't talk to me
Yeah,
about the Middle East. What does that say? If if we're able to do it here, you think the woman in the Middle East has hope? We
exactly.
bring hope to the world.
The beacon of the world, bro.
And here we are restricting people's freedoms all in the name of safety.
It's always done in the name of safety. That's another thing people
It
always have
has
to
good
always
intentions. It has good intentions, but never yields good outcomes. This is a
exactly.
Thomas Sowell ideology. He says, oh, those have great intentions and they sound good and they make you feel good and it's wholesome, but they never yield good outcomes. They just never do.
Yeah, and
Because, yeah, go ahead.
no, go ahead. It's never enough.
It's
You
never
were saying.
enough. It's just
Yeah.
never enough. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just curious, like for people who are very, very pro-vax, let's say, or when I say pro-vax, right? Let me use another word, right? Because there's many people who don't want the vaccine, who are not anti-vax. They just feel they're all right and don't need it, right? But my question is there ever a point for people who have been vaccinated that they tell themselves, enough is enough when it comes to a booster shot every year and all that? Or are you just gonna say, as many shots they told me to take, I'm taking? I sometimes wonder about that mentality because I'm so different than that I'm like,
Oh,
are
yeah.
you just willing to follow along year after year? Is if they tell you COVID is a summer shutdown thing, and then you need a booster shot, and then, yo, bro, one more thing right here. You know how much
Yeah.
money these pharmaceutical companies are making? Don't get me wrong, they always have made tons of money. But the profit they're pulling in right now, they're trying to pass it for 5 to 12-year-olds when the death rate is 0.00008. Like, bro, this is crazy. Anyways, did you hear
Yeah.
what Stephen A. Smith had to say?
Stephen A, we're gonna get that clip going right now. But my little feedback here to this, the snippet here, is that I'm curious always why the masses or the massive group has this ideology, right? Just get vaccinated, right? The Keith Olbermans out there yelling and say, stop kowtowing to the unvaccinated. They're just idiots. They're morons. Why is it that we've taken that stand so much to get people vaccinated when the death rate is going down? You can't tell me to get vaccinated to preserve life when the death rate is going down. It doesn't connect for me, right? And I understand that there are people out there that say, "Hey, don't hurt others." But I thought the vaccine helps the vaccinated, and while helping the vaccinated, it helps the unvaccinated. So if you now put that, this is the mix flippy floppy, not just about Kyrie, where I said, I'm gonna stay true to myself. I don't like flip floppers, but I also I don't like it in the CDC. I don't like it in Dr. Fauci. I don't like it in all these health experts because you keep flip flopping the prognosis. And I know science keeps going back and forth, but at the end of the day, if you're gonna hold to an agenda, now that the science contradicts that, you're not even going to waver? You're going to put this man out of a job when it's like he's less likely to actually die from COVID if he gets it?
It's
You're
nearly
not
impossible
even listening to the science.
for
Yeah,
an
that's what I'm
MP player
saying.
to die out of this. And the
That doesn't
shape
make
they're in,
sense.
bro, is just crazy. Anyway, about to put the puppet master of ESPN right here really quick. See what he has to say. This is directly after Kyrie Irving went live.
Let's see what we got here with Mr. Stephen A.
All right, hold up.
Very controversial person, in my opinion. The bigot.
Good Lord have mercy.
Oh, your boy tight. Oh, good Lord, have mercy. How do we have to tear down?
Yeah, he sounds like he's about ready to be a bigot again.
It's, mind you, FYI, Colin Kaepernick was a hero.
Just heard that Kyrie Irving was on Instagram Live. Try to let it go.
What?
Gotta leave it alone. Ain't about disagreeing. Ain't about vaccines or anti-vaccines.
By the way, this is fully entertainment. This man says nothing right now. FYI, everybody watching, this is full entertainment for us. I just want to see you guys. I just want to see how he reacts. I've seen this, but I want people to see how people are reacting. This is the kind of reaction.
Listen. We all know he's as phony as that hairline, bro.
You know something?
Talk to us.
I'm just gonna wait.
Oh,
until tomorrow morning. I think somebody told me, because I didn't see it. Somebody told me that he said that he hopes that the media plays what he actually said live on Instagram. Okay.
I won't torture you with nothing right now. He says nothing. Now he's going to talk about it tomorrow morning. Maybe play a clip of the Instagram, of the 30-minute Instagram he had, and go all out on why he should be fired and whatever, you know. So he already said Kyrie should be just fired and let go, but you ain't say that.
He also said that he let down his team. He also said that the reason why James Harden even came to the Nets was because of Kyrie Irving. Are you out of your bird? You really think that an NBA player is going to go to a team just for one person? There's a collective of people. There's an organization I got to consider. There's other fan base, or I got to move my family. Other than that, like, it's not just one person. And I don't think James Harden is going to take this personal. Who I think takes this personal is the fans. And they should take it personal, because the game of basketball or any sport is not for the player, it's for the fan, period. So that's why I brought up the point earlier that they forget that their platform is not just them as a human. When I go to work, I'm a human. I have my own voice. I have my own considerations. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm hired to do a job. And you've made a great point. You made a great point that they have an influence. They can take a stance. And you said it brings you hope. It brings you hope to know that someone as big as Kyrie can leave money on the table. Why can't I? I can make these sacrifices as well.
Facts.
So I hear you in that.
Yeah, I want to play another quick clip here on what you're talking about with Kyrie and all that, but I just have to say this. You are hired to do a job. No argument in that, right? That's why you get hired for. That's what you get paid for, and that is your responsibility, right? But when it's crossing your liberties in such a way that Colin Kaepernick actually talked about, which he was wrong, this is actually tangible. These people are crossing the line, forcing you to get you can't force somebody to get a certain medication, a certain treatment. It's only normal because they're convincing you we're in a pandemic that's ending the world. But then they're going to convince you something else is happening in the name of safety. They're going to take another one away. It's just the way the game works. But let me play my man, Puppet Master's back. Hold on, give me a second.
Puppet Master.
Is yet another reason why Kyrie Irving isn't playing basketball. KD is in Brooklyn because of you. James Harden, to a lesser degree, is in Brooklyn because of you. You helped bring these brothers together. And that's where I'm coming from. It is my belief. I'm not trying to say forget the vaccine, because I understand that's a part of this discussion. Again, but what I'm focusing on, and what I want people to know that I'm focusing on about Kyrie Irving, is I believe you helped assemble all of this. And you've left these dudes hanging yet again. Now, we can sit up there and say this has nothing to do with everything else that's going on in this past. Fair enough. But the one consistent common denominator that is inescapable is A, Kyrie Irving is a distraction. B, it usually involves him missing time on the job, which he signed up to do, which he encouraged other people to do, which...
And that's the point you're making.
Yeah, about him, the job first. Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with that point. But again, you can't just say, this is the job I hire you for, but these are the stipulations. You're just adding stuff that has nothing to do with my job. Getting a vaccine has nothing to do with my job. Again,
And do you think that statement holds up with people in the medical field? This stipulations has nothing to do with my job.
even more, because they worked a whole year and a half without a vaccine in the
Mm.
midst of the craziest COVID wave. Like, that's why it's so political to these people, because they're like, yo, I worked a year and a half. Now you're forcing me to take it. And they know a lot of them know about natural immunity.
And you would think anyone who
Don't
has the
say that
most,
word, by the way. We might get this video taken
if
down.
you think anyone who has the most natural immunity would be the people in the medical system, people who were directly in contact with people who had
Most of
COVID.
them got COVID. Most of the nurses got COVID, they said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Play. These are all the things that I'm pointing to. And that's where I want to go from there before we even get into what he said last night.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
The dude's a clown. He again, yesterday I brought him up because there are points that he makes that I agree with, but majority of the time I do not agree with Stephen A. Smith because he just does not know what he's talking about. And he does that on purpose to be clickbait. For example, just to kind of get to the behind the scenes of my perspective on Stephen A. He started First Take with who? Do you remember?
What's this guy's name? Is it
Skip.
I know
He
Skip.
started
Yeah,
it with Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless, yeah.
Skip couldn't take him, left. And you know who was next after that? It wasn't Max. It was Will Kane. Will Kane is great, but he's a conservative, obviously, because he's on Fox and Friends on Saturday and Sunday mornings. So clearly there's
Tim Tebow too?
I don't remember. I don't
as
remember.
well. Yeah, Tim Tebow's
yeah.
in discussion, but I don't know how that's planning out.
But then you get Max Kellerman, who I thought brought a lot to that show because he would be like, "Yo, Stephen A, I don't think you see this very well, and I'm going to bring in my points."
Mhm.
And I wouldn't agree with Max, but at the same token, you needed that balance. Stephen A goes way too far, too much. He reminds me of the far left or the far right. He goes way too far sometimes, sometimes in the most opposite direction. And I can't listen to him anymore. I stopped watching First Take years ago. You know what else I also got frustrated with ESPN about, and I'm glad they don't have him up anymore. Jamila.
Yeah, Jamil. I heard the girl, right?
Yeah, and I was so excited to see
I had Twitter
her.
wars with her.
I was so excited to see her with her co-star at 6 p.m. at prime time because I'm like, yo, this is awesome. Somebody who can relate to me in a more downward fashion, not because of the color of their skin, but they were more like relaxed. It felt like, this was like, I'm talking to my friends in high school about the game.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, now you want to make it political? Now you want to make it about race? Yo, you just blew your platform. You blew it. And you weren't generating any views. And now you want to take it out on Twitter. You want to take it out on politics. And that's why she continues going downhill. Because she forgot her job. Her job is to report and talk about the game. And this is why it's like, you guys can't forget about your job. I can't go to my job and start evangelizing, or I can't be against this or against that or take a stand in this and that. But this has got to this there has to be a line that's drawn, and I don't think Kyrie fits that criteria right now. But there's a lot of times, almost 90% of it, where Kyrie does. Your job is to play basketball.
Yeah.
Is not to be a politician. Is not to be anything else.
So you're telling him to shut up and dribble, right?
Oh, I tell 90% of the time I'll tell him to shut up and dribble. But in this case, because you made a great point this morning, and that was you can separate the person from the ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can look at it in instances. So in this instant, I would say I agree with him because we should not be forcing someone to do something that they don't feel comfortable doing. Isn't that the whole thing of the Me Too movement?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the whole thing about bullying and all that stuff? Why are we contradicting ourselves and now bullying people or being or having people commit these things that are non-consensual? This
Mm-hmm.
contradicts everything progressive. This contradicts everything about what their movement really is. And it bothers me, and I understand you have the same sentiment. It bothers me to see the reason why I think Trump lost a lot of conservative votes is because he did implement the lockdowns. Is because he did cave to the left.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, you should have never closed the economy if you didn't want it to be a problem. You should
Ooh.
have never had people sitting at home and alone because you knew you had the science on your side and you should have kept up with that. But you contradicted yourself by saying, okay, let's have a lockdown while walking around without a mask. Let's have a lockdown, but not enforcing the vaccine. You can't be both and think it's not gonna have any impact on you. You gotta stay true to what you believe. He's a money guy, and he's gonna immediately think, I can't shut down the economy. It won't help us. It will hurt us.
Yeah.
And he caved, just like a lot of other people did. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. Nah, I agree with that. I agree with that, man. So I want to say this, man. When it comes to this, we have layers of how we're looking at it because it's a layered conversation, right? Because you have the mandate, but then you have the science of the vaccine, then you have the livelihood of people, you have the job. So it's like there's so many different ways to relate to this and
Yeah.
really like understand. Everybody comes from a different lens. I try to give grace to people coming and look at it in different ways, right? There's people who look at it strictly to medical. Everybody should get it with a good heart, they feel. But what are, like we always talk about, what are you sacrificing, right? So by the way, I thought this was funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody put on Twitter, Kyrie thinks he's a freedom fighter, but he's really Kanye with a crazy handles and layup package. they, damn, they went at my man, yo.
How, Sway? How?
Anyways, I'm glad we got to speak about this today because this is a hot topic. We dived right into it, and I love that we didn't try to give all the answers. We just try to have an honest conversation about this. So, anyways, I just want to say what we stand for is exactly the kind of episode we had today. We're not gonna have all the answers, but we're gonna work and flow through these conversations in a way you probably can't nowhere else, man. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Macho, let us know where they can find us and all the other details you want to share, man.
That's right. In case you miss any of our content, as you see here on the screen, go on the YouTube channel, type in Drinks with a Nobody, and hit that subscribe button because we want to put out more content. We want to be able to keep doing this. And we also eventually want to do this for a living. But we want to be a resource for you primarily. We want to serve our audience. We want to be the people to talk about the things you think about, maybe can't talk about. We want to do it right here. And we want to do it over a drink. We want to wrestle over these topics. But remember, we may be Drinks with a Nobody and at Drinks with a Nobody. And here we say there are no last calls.
You already know.
There are no last calls. And though this show may be ending today,
we shall be back.
We shall be back.
No last
so let's
call,
keep
people.
the conversation going. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's stay engaged. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be here at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Adios.